Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rolla Tailgate, your go-to source for all the ongoings of the Rolla Fantasy League. I have been on quite the hiatus over the past 4 weeks. I've been to Brazil, I've traveled back to North Dakota, and I've been visiting a lot of family. But I am back and ready to give you all the information that you want to know about the Rolla Fantasy League. It has been quite a 4 weeks since I've been gone. Standings have changed considerably. People have been scoring points. There's been so many injuries. We have a lot to cover. I'm not going to be going through the depth that I might otherwise normally, but you're going to be getting a lot of these weeks in review and the week upcoming. We also have a few trades that have happened, and I want to go over a little bit about waivers as well. So starting first on week 3, we have a pretty normal week that's happened here. Carl was able to defeat John with a high score of 155 to 122. Really high scoring. It's tough to take a loss when you score 122 points. Speaking of tough losses, we have Trent losing to Kyle. Trent really needed that win there with the way his team has been performing, but Kyle was able to pull off the 2-point victory. Leo put the beat down on Jared, 158 to 112. Leonard, you'll see some themes here, has been really high scoring throughout these last 4 weeks that I've been gone. Devin was able to pull off a Cole against Cole here, 115 to 95. That was actually a pretty big deal that we'll see. They're both 4-2. And then lastly, TJ was able to put the whooping on Levi, who has been having a huge injury bug. He beat him 137 to 93. Coming up to week 4 now, we have a huge move by TJ that happened. TJ at 7:30 a.m. picked up Kenneth Gainwell, a running back for the Steelers. It was a game that was overseas, an international game between the Steelers and the Vikings. And with TJ doing that move, he was able to pull ahead of Carl, beating him 116 to 102. If he would have started Hollywood Brown, which is probably the player he would have started, he would have lost that game. So a huge move. I think that deserves a lot of kudos to TJ for making a move such as that. Speaking of week 4 and huge moves, this is also the first week where the entire league has scored over 100 points in a single week. And I believe so far this is the only week that has stood true for. This also is our second highest score of the year, with Jared at 170 points over Trenton at 109. Complete blowout. That's tough for Trenton. He doesn't get over 100 points very often, so that's tough taking on a big loss like that. John put the whooping on Kyle at 160 to 124. Kyle didn't really stand much of a chance there. Kyle's been without Jaden Daniels for a few weeks now. That's really been hurting him. He has a lot of reliance on Jaden Daniels putting up points on his team. Devin was able to beat Leonard 168 to 102. That also has a lot of implications right now. They're both 4-2 right now, and Devin putting up a win like that was really big. Then Levi pulling off the upset against Cole here, 135 to 123. That was a really good game. That might have been potentially the game of the week if we had been doing our weeks in reviews. Going to week 5 now. This is the week where we have the highest score of the league so far, and that honor goes to Leonard. If you see down there at the bottom against Levi, Leonard beat him 170 to 92. Not a bad week to have a bit of a dud there, Levi, if Leonard's going to be putting up those kind of points. Speaking of huge points and blowouts, Cole had another huge week at 163 points, beating Carl to 93. Trenton pulled off a big victory here, 133 against 119 of John. That has a lot of implications down here at the bottom of the standings. Once again, Devin pulling out a big win against Jared, 130 to 113. And then TJ continuing his dominance, 131 to Kyle's 92 points. Lastly, we have week 6. This is Leonard over Carl, 139 to 124. This ended up going all the way to Monday night, kind of a Monday night shootout. This score was a lot closer most of the week than what this kind of indicates. Trenton beat Devin, 121 to 103. Trenton really needed that victory. That was good. Devin, you're going to see in the week upcoming, Devin is now probably the most injured team, taking that over Levi now. And he's going to be hurting a bit. We'll see if those 4 wins, it's a good thing he got those 4 wins. John lost to TJ, 121 to 114. That doesn't bode well for the rest of us in the league. We really need to beat TJ whenever he's scoring 121 points, but he just keeps on having victories. Rico Dowdle. I have no idea how you even say that name. All I see is Dowdle everywhere because he has been on a tear. I think he scored 30 points in the last 3 weeks or something crazy like that. He is absolutely shooting up the board, which doesn't really help our next player that we're going over, Levi. He was able to pull off victory over Jared, 135 to 117. But why Dowdle doing well puts a hurt on Levi as Levi has Chubba Hubbard. And Levi really needs a nice starting running back right now to be able to plug into his flex. And with Dowdle doing so well, we don't know if Chubba's going to get that starting spot back. But lastly, we have an absolute shootout here between Cole and Kyle. Cole's getting the victory at 108 to 105. That really hurts Kyle. Kyle had some big scores, as you see with Devin A-Chain, Jane Daniels, and McCaffrey. But in our week upcoming, you see Kyle really needs maybe some other players to start stepping up a bit. And that is the summary over the last 4 weeks. Really jam-packed. We're really hitting that mid-season stride where we're starting to see managers able to start the players that are actually putting up points. We, of course, still have some duds, but we have a lot of points going on the board. And I'm eating my words as we're looking at week 6. We have another week of scoring over 100 points for every team. Let's take a quick look at the standings. We see TJ up at the top all by himself at a record of 5-1. But then we have 3 players at 4-2. We have Cole, Leo, and Devin. I think Devin's going to be shooting down the board right now. We'll see why that is a little bit when we take a closer look at his team. But Cole and Leo are looking really good right now. I think they're going to continue to be at the top. We have Levi's sole possession of 5th place here at 3-3. And then we have 5 teams at 2-4. Absolutely crazy. This league is always competitive, and that is absolutely delivering. A lot of these teams really need to start winning because 2-4 is not going to cut it. And something I found really interesting in the points for, besides the bottom 3 teams of Kyle, Carl, and Trenton, who are in the 600s, Trenton at 650, we have between TJ all the way down to Jared, so place 1 through 7th, we have a points for of just less than 20 points or so, give or take. Devin, you're bringing that down a little bit, but you have 4-2 wins. Levi, you're kind of there too. But the points for is absolutely crazy at the top. Just very little separation going on between these 7 teams. We are in a competitive league. Really, that points against is just really brutal. We see Levi at sole points against of 808 points. He's the only one in the 800s. We see TJ somehow having 583. Think about that. TJ has had 200 less points against him than Levi has. And that's pure luck right now. Not much you can do about that. If you're Levi, that's awesome. You can say TJ is playing some good defense. Some other things that have happened in the league since we've been out has been trades. So we've had 3 trades. Some of these trades happened before I went on a bit of a hiatus. But what we see here is I just want to do a quick review in case people forgot. We had the first trade of the league go down with Trenton and Devin. Trenton received Brian Thomas for Marvin Harrison and Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. That's a hard name to say. But what's even harder is probably that pill to swallow for Trenton. Bill, a.k.a. Ja'Cory, whatever, blah, 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 his name is. Trenton has seen that guy run all over, get all the carries, as well as Marvin Harrison has the yips, but he still has been putting up a little bit to Brian Thomas, absolute duds. He had a couple okay last weeks, but he's really sucked, to be honest. And so Trenton was really on the losing side of this one, just purely based off of Bill. Really tough trade to swallow. Speaking of tough trades to swallow, Trenton was once again a part of another trade, a trade to Levi where Trenton sent Justin Herbert and Ashton Genty for Chase Brown. And this was right before, I think it was right before the quarterback went down, Joe Burrow, and that really has taken a nosedive for the Bengals. Ashton Genty also was not doing well at all, and so I think Trenton was just sick of him. He wanted out. He sent Herbert and Genty for Chase Brown, and that has not been good. In fact, this week, Trenton's not even starting Chase Brown while we're seeing Ashton Genty break into the top 10 of running backs, and Justin Herbert's also in the top 10 of quarterbacks, which Levi really needed. Levi really clearly winning that trade. Lastly, we have a trade that just went down this week between Cole and Carl. Cole received Saquon Barkley from Carl, while Carl received Javonte Williams and Deebo Samuel. This is probably the highest profile trade we've had in this, at least for sure this year, if not in this league in a couple of years. These are some high-profile players. Saquon Barkley, somewhat underperforming. Some questions on the Eagles, but otherwise, Saquon Barkley's getting touches. And we have Javonte Williams, who we did not expect to be doing well this year. He has one of the top 5 running backs so far in fantasy. Can he hold on to that? We'll see. And then Deebo Samuel has also had a resurgence in Washington. Both, I would say, have been really overperforming where we thought they would this year. Can they continue that, or is maybe Carl trading Saquon Barkley not a good decision from his perspective? We had a lot of activity within waivers this week. I'll hop over to waivers and the waiver report. We had over 5 teams try to get Kamani Vidal. Probably a lot of us trying to maybe chase some fool's gold here. He did get a ton of carries for the Chargers, but then the Chargers have recently come out saying that they're really trying to trade for a running back. Is Vidal really going to be something that we're going to plug and play and be able to use? We're not sure, but 5 of us liked what we saw, and we're trying to get after him. Otherwise, we have a lot of kickers, defenses, quarterbacks getting picked up here. Really nothing burgers for the rest of the waivers. Coming up this week, Levi holds the number 1 waiver wire pick, and then with John and Leo in 2nd and 3rd, respectively. Let's get to the week upcoming. We have some really fun matchups, and before I do that, and we get into our game of the week, you see we have a brand new sponsor this week, Pamela Joe's. This is Pam Bird, hairstylist within Wahpeton, North Dakota. You know this podcast loves showing and marketing different local businesses. You see her phone number right there. Call today to set up a time. She is known in the community as being somebody that will not only make you look pretty and beautiful, but also somebody that you really enjoy going to, a bit of a time away from work, a bit of a treat yourself type experience. Go check out Pamela Joe's in Wahpeton, North Dakota if you're in the area. She would love to see you come by. Now let's hop back to the upcoming week here, and we have our first game of the week. So this is the first time Carl is giving himself, I don't know why I'm talking third person, I'm giving myself game of the week this week, and I think rightfully so against Jared. We have two and 4 teams. They're battling it out down here in the crap bowl. These teams need wins, and they need them fast. Let's take a little bit of a look. Carl, speaking of Kamani Vidal, is starting him. He's also starting his 2 brand new players to the team, Javonte Williams and Deebo Samuel. We're missing a little bit of star power trading Saquon, but Carl felt that he really needed to do that today. This team has been performing overall okay, just having some tough losses lately. Not to mention Hollywood Brown only having a 5.5 projection. Rashee Rice is coming back. Carl has to make some decisions if he's for sure starting Hollywood Brown here, but Hollywood Brown having an average of almost 11 points, getting projected at 5.5, I feel is a little crazy from ESPN's perspective. Speaking of crazy projections, we have some crazy projections on Jared's side, and I think is really the big reason for that. Quinshon Judkins is at 15.0 points. That's actually pretty good for him, but Vidal having a projection of 10.8 I think is really low, and so that's why Jared's getting the check mark here. But really, we have to go down to Alvin Kamara, 13.0 projection. He scored that exactly that amount once, and otherwise he's been below that. It's pretty crazy that they're just projecting him at his absolute peak whenever we know that Alvin Kamara has actually been getting less and less touches throughout the weeks. Then we have Matthew Golden at 9.2, and he has also only eclipsed more than 9.2 points once so far this year. So getting that kind of projection, I think, is absolutely crazy. So that's where we're getting these difference in projection totals. I think regardless of my biases of I think I'm projected too low, him projected too high, I think this is going to be a really close game and one to look out for across the league. Next up, we have Trenton versus TJ, and really the whole league here is really hoping Trenton can pull this one out, and it's not looking likely in my opinion. TJ is getting back 2 of his top receivers, CeeDee Lamb and Terry McLaurin this week. He has really been in the hurt bag a bit, not to mention Lamar Jackson's still out this week, but he's been able to make it by at 5-1, so him getting back to full strength does not look good for the rest of the league. Jonathan Taylor's been on a tear. Jaylen Warren actually has been a little bit hurt, but he's coming back, as we talked about with Kenneth Gainwell's big game. In fact, TJ just sent me a trade request right now, and we're denying that. Sorry, TJ. Trenton, on the other hand, I don't know what to think about this team. Dak Prescott has been really good. Jake Ferguson has been awesome. That's been a great stack for him and points. But otherwise, we have some really wanting here. Jordan Mason's been actually getting banged up a little bit. As I mentioned previously in the trade, Brian Thomas has been an absolute stinker really so far this year from his first round pick. Maybe he was drafted in the second round, but he's projected first round. Stephon Diggs had a couple great weeks, and then he laid another egg for him last week. It's really hard to know whether to start him or not. New England's also being rumored to be trying to trade for a wide receiver. Nico Collins, Ladd McConkey, a couple of really big disappointments. Nico being also drafted in that first or second round. We're hoping for some points here, but I'm really going TJ on this one. I think that his projection's probably pretty good. I think Trent's projections are a little high. We have a great matchup here with Levi versus Devin. As I mentioned before, Devin is quickly become the most injured team in the league. He's had a great Emeka Buka has been awesome, but he's injured now. He had Omarion Hampton, who's on the IR. Trey Benson, who we've picked up later on after the plotter running back for Arizona, also was injured. I forget what his name is. I think Devin maybe even had him. Marvin Harrison's also injured. Now, Quentin Johnston, who he's starting, has had an injury that he's been questionable with. Josh Downs just got reported that he has a concussion within practice, apparently, so he's probably not going to be able to play him. It's not looking good for Devin, and I honestly think Levi's team is looking pretty strong right now. Herbert's been putting up points. Bijan Robinson went absolutely bonkers on Monday night. There's no reason to think somebody explosive as him isn't going to continue that. Ashton Genty's getting a total number of carries. Roma Dunze has been doing well. He had a touchdown called back due to a kind of ghost illegal formation that apparently New York called in to call. Super weird, but he would have had even more points. He's the number 10 receiver right now. He would have been probably 9 or 8 with that touchdown. Dallas Goedert's pulling up points. Mike Evans is finally back. I think Levi's going to stop Devin. I'm sorry, Devin. I love your spunk in this team, but I think you're going to go to 4-3, and Levi's going to get that fourth place. So we have Cole versus John. I think Cole probably has the strongest roster in the league. I think this projection is close, but overall, I think that Cole's going to pull this out. Baker Mayfield's been doing great. Rashad White is also had a great game, or a great couple games, with Bucky being still hurt. Bucky's currently on Jared's roster if you weren't paying attention to that, but he's currently doubtful. He got Saquon Barkley, and he has another couple of top guys in Travis Kelce, Jackson Smith-Njigba. Jalen Waddle's been doing really well as well. DJ Moore's a pretty sketchy wide receiver start, as is Rashid Shaheed, but Cole is dealing with a few buys. He has Derrick Henry and James Cook on bye. I don't really think this matters as much because I think John is also reeling a little bit. Puka Nacua is dealing with an ankle injury, the number 1 receiver in football right now, currently projected with a fat 0 points. He does also have Devontae Adams on this roster, but that surely hurts losing the best receiver in football right now. Breece Hall did get a decent amount of carries last week. Wasn't able to get in the end zone, but that's somebody to keep looking at. Cam Scatabo, or as they say on the TV, Scataboo, looks to be really great right now for him. I just think that John is hurting a little bit too much. He doesn't really have too many people to actually plug in and get really many points at all when he has to sit Puka. I think Cole takes this victory. Then lastly up, we have Leo versus Kyle. We have a close projected score, but similar to Jared, I think Kyle is too highly projected. Jalen Daniels, although great when he's back and been playing, you see he averages 23 points, but he now has a projected of 28. I get that Dallas has been a really good defense for quarterbacks to play against, but it's still a division game. I don't think that he's going to be meeting that projection with what he's been averaging. But he does have Christian McCaffrey, Devon Achane. They've been really great as well. Their projections, I think, are right in line with what we'd expect from them. And the rest of the team is just an absolute dud. Michael Pittman, not doing all that great. Wan'Dale Robinson had a great week last week, but he's playing Denver. He's going to get shut down. He was able to pick up Fannin on waivers, but a tight end isn't really going to win you the weeks. They just maybe don't lose you weeks. T. Higgins has looked just not good. Hopefully Joe Flacco can help them out, but really Joe Flacco seems to be throwing to Jamar Chase so much more. And Ramondre Stevenson, I forget exactly what happened last week. I just remember seeing some sort of stats where he was just super not good. I think he either had a ton of carries for like 0 yards or he fumbled the ball or something. I just remember seeing some sort of post about him, and I said, I am happy I don't have him on my team. Then we have Leo. I think Leo, unfortunately, is actually doing pretty well now. Caleb Williams, I hate division quarterbacks, but he's been doing pretty good in fantasy. Josh Jacobs, Kyron Williams have been both really great running backs for him, as well as J.K. Dobbins putting up points. Jamar Chase is back on track with Joe Flacco at quarterback. Trey Tucker is maybe one of his weak links on the team, but he is ranked number 9 overall, and if you haven't looked at him, it's because he's had a couple of huge games. He still has that possibility. Kansas City isn't exactly a great pass defense team. That said, it's really just a boom or bust type of player, but that's good for Leo. He's starting 4 running backs. That really helps his floor out a lot. He can take some risks at wide receiver too. I expect him to win this game. I think Kyle is completely overprojected. And that wraps up this week in review, or really what I should say is the last 4 weeks in review. Thank you everyone for coming in and spending time with me talking over. I'm looking forward to being more regular once again and bringing you that fantasy league information that you're looking for. Thank you for checking in.